It's time for the Drink O'Clock Podcast. Talking to esports and streamer personalities from around the world. So pour yourself a stiff one, sit back and relax, and let's get to it. And now, here's your host, Rob Max ABV Valencius.
All right, so we're live officially after many takes of all the fucking bullshit we had to go through. But welcome to the first episode of the Drink O'Clock Podcast. My name is Rob Max ABV Valencius, and I have with me the pleasure, GiltieTV. What's going on, Guilty?
It's going great. No complaints. Just vibing.
That's good. That's good. So I figured I would start this off since it's my first podcast, the inaugural podcast. And if you're listening to this, you won't be able to see it, but certainly if you go on the YouTube, you can. I have a bottle of Bullet bourbon, which, by the way, I don't take shots because I'm a boomer. And I figured, fuck it. Hold on. Let's see if you can hear this. Probably not. If I spill some, I'm going to freak the fuck out. So, Guilty. I've known you now for what, 2 years?
Roughly 2 years. Ever since the Higa raid, I think it's been like 2 years at least.
True. So before we get into your background, I figured I would salute you. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother.
All right.
I don't have beer on me, so that'll do.
That was
damn.
delicious.
Took it like a boss.
And I'm gonna chase it with a Bud Light. You can probably hear this. Beautiful. Whew. Oh, that burns. So, to give the viewers a background on why I have you as my first guest, right? So, I met Guilty about 2 years ago. I actually wasn't in the initial raid that Hiko. So, Guilty is a streamer. I guess I should probably tell people what the hell you do, right? Guilty's a streamer. He's been streaming for how many years now?
Ever since Fortnite came out, so roughly 5-6 years, like in total.
Okay.
On and off, yeah.
All right, so he's got me by like 3 years because I've only been doing it since I think 2019. And I was just randomly going through Twitch and came across your channel and said, I like to watch people who don't have 1,000 viewers because I like to talk to people.
It's more personal.
I like to interact. Yeah. So I figured, fuck it, I'll hop in, start talking to them, and then, can't even look back from there, man. I mean, I think I hang out with you more than I do my IRL friends. We got a lot of shit going on in life, so I figured, fuck it. You have a really unique story that I think a lot of people don't get to see when you're on stream, yelling at people when you play Valorant. So, so why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and, kind of talking about what brought you here? Because I think it's unique.
Well, yeah, my name's Guilty, so I pretty much started streaming when Fortnite came out, Season 1. So I used to watch Myth a lot. I used to watch Tfue. That kind of really got me into, Fortnite. And I was playing at the time. I just wasn't streaming, Season 1. I think I started, Season 2 or 3, streaming. And then I would just...
I'm awful at Fortnite, by the way. I'm awful. Never play that game
If I hop
with me.
on that game, I'll just get smoked. So... But yeah, anyway, so I pretty much started off with Fortnite. I started off with controller, and I would just play solo arena. I was just constantly grinding the game. I fell in love with it. It was a really fun game when it came out, And if it weren't for Fortnite, I probably wouldn't be streaming.
I know. We lost your audio.
Oh, yes. But yeah, if it weren't for
There you
Fortnite, I probably wouldn't be streaming right now. So anyways, I was just fell in love with the game. I was grinding every day. Then I finally decided to get rid of the controller and switch to keyboard and mouse. And after that, hard to adjust.
Never looked back.
Yep, never looked back, but it was so hard to adjust because you're so used to a controller growing up playing console that mouse and keyboard is a huge learning curve. So
Dude, I've been there.
Yep. So eventually switched to Fortnite, got absolutely destroyed on keyboard, and just realized one day that the game wasn't for me, and I was like, oh well, instead of giving up, time to find something else. And then Valorant came around. I was like, bam, fell in love with this game. The crowd.
Do you play beta?
I did not play beta. I started like
Yeah,
roughly 2-3 acts after beta, like around the yeah. But
Cool.
still pretty new, yeah, and fell in love with the game. I think I started playing unrated. That's when I fell in love with content and got into that. Then I started getting more competitive.
Yeah.
And then,
That's cool. So, talk a little bit about your family, because I think your background's really cool. I don't know if I've ever met anybody with your style of background, and I think people would be interested to know a little bit more about that.
Sure. So pretty much when I was 4 years old, we came to America. I'm from Kosovo, or Albania. It's Kosovo now because they gained independence. So pretty much what happened was there was a war between like Kosovo and Serbia, which is massive. It's just a genocide, like they just took over a whole country, and there's a lot of refugees that just came to America and like on a boat, like just no English whatsoever, and I was 4 years old. It was insane.
That's
And
crazy.
something similar happened actually with Ukraine. So the same situation that happened to us in like 1999 happened in Ukraine.
I figured the shot glass I would use is a Ukrainian shot glass. So we go to a Ukrainian festival. I still have a little bit in here.
There you go.
We go to a Ukrainian festival every year. Actually, we went this past Sunday. And, obviously my fiance is Ukrainian. And she's just, she was born here. She wasn't born in Ukraine. But, it's always brought up. So we understand is, I guess, my my rebuttal to that.
It's totally like it's wild. Like, and even like the scariest part was like I like my brother would tell me stories because I was only 4 years old. I didn't really know much, like in terms of details. But he told me this one story that like he carried me in his arms in the middle of a war zone, like with bullets flying by, and I was 4 years old, and like
That's crazy,
it was
dude.
insane, dude. Like, and then coming to America, obviously was like the biggest cultural shock. Like you got America, barely speaking English. And then on top of all that, I go to like the best high school, the best school system, and I barely speak English. So a lot of bullying would happen, and like I would take a lot of frustration out on violence. Obviously, violence is never the key, but that's just how I was pretty much brought up.
Well, I mean, when
built
you're
up anger, yeah.
when you're running through a war zone at 4, I mean, it's kind of like there at some point, right?
Exactly.
That's crazy,
And
man.
it's just I'm just grateful ever since, because like, dude, like it could have gone south any moment. It could have gone south, and I'm like, that's why I'm grateful every single day that I'm here, because it was insane and very traumatizing, but we're on to better things.
That's awesome, man. Well, look, we're good to have you. I know you got a lot of stuff in the works. We got our team. We got a lot of stuff going on. But, there's a couple things I think that I personally wanted to know. So I figured, fuck it, might as well ask you, right? So in terms of, like, influential people in your life, talk to me about, 1, 2, however many you want to, and like how they impacted you. Because I know you have a ton of course, my dogs are gonna bark, dude. I should have said something before I even started this, that hey, just so you guys know, my dogs are assholes and they're gonna bark at some point. Shut up. But anyway, so talk to me a little bit about like your influential people in your life, and what they mean to you, and kind of how they helped you grow.
So pretty much my family was always supportive. Like my parents were never really strict on me. Like they always understood the main priority was to like see me happy, right? They didn't care what I did as long as I was happy. So they never really cared that I like played video games. Like never nagged me on. But they did mention how like, oh, video games are a waste of time. Like a lot of parents nowadays will say that. They still let me do what I want, and they never told me no. They just want to see me happy. But they did say it was a waste of time. But that's why I wanted to prove to them long term. I'm like, it might seem like a waste of time, but we'll see one day when everything turns around, for the better, and I can actually prove it to them. But yeah, I know.
Look, man, I'm okay. So I'm 36. I'm old in video game terms, especially, right? So growing up, video games was like, it was a nerd thing, And I have always been a nerd. I think so. When I started playing games, my dad had me playing Galaga. I think I was 3. And then I had graduated to Tecmo Bowl. So when my dad would have people over, like after the Eagles game or whatever, his boys would be drunk, and I would be fucking playing them in Tecmo Bowl, and I would be beating the shit out of them. I was 5, and my dad almost got into fist fights with some of his buddies because they would get mad at me for beating them because I was I was a kid. Yeah. So growing up, video games was always kind of like my thing, and I worked at GameStop for many years. Fuck them, and it's probably why I have so much gray hair. If you're watching the video, but it's one of those things where now it's just different. Like the atmosphere is so different. The thinking behind video games is so different, and it's cool. I'm not as much of a nerd. Like being a nerd is kind of cool now.
I feel like it's cool. Like it's cool nowadays, right? Like back then, you didn't have a lot of opportunity with esports, right? Now I
got my ass beat a lot back then.
I believe it, dude. It's crazy, but yeah.
I was a chubby little fat kid back then though,
Yeah.
and so my nickname was Chubby Checkers, and they just, beat up the fat kid who didn't talk to anybody. But jokes on them, because now my life's a lot better. So
I would love to see them pull up at you, and land.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah. But back to you. Let's talk a little bit about your influences
But yeah, so pretty much like I appreciate the fact that they weren't like super like strict on me, and I have like 6 brothers and 1 sister, and pretty much all my brothers
crazy.
are just
so many siblings, dude. How do you keep up with that shit?
They all have their own place.
I have 1 brother, and it's already difficult.
It's crazy, man. There's a lot going on. So Sundays, I do miss Sundays, like spending time together, like as a whole, because we used to live together a while back when we first came to America. Now everyone has their own home. It's more distant. It's not like, and like in my culture, like we're big on family. Like we love bonding together. So like, it threw me off when everyone just got their own place. Everything just changed,
What's like a Thanksgiving, a typical Thanksgiving with you guys?
Dude.
That's what I want to know.
It's insane, man. It's just a lot of food. My mom literally running around.
Double turkey, right?
Yeah, double turkey. My mom's running around, like, cooking, cleaning. Like, she does it all, man.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, so pretty much all my brothers were, like, well, one of them has a dealership. The other one remodels. Like, they all had these, like, entrepreneur, like, mindsets, as I was growing up that I just didn't really pay attention to, I was like, oh, why are they doing
Well, you
this?
don't when you're young.
Yeah, and then now I'm starting to realize, like, okay, maybe they were right all along. Like, maybe being an entrepreneur was my thing all along. I just didn't realize.
See, I envy you a little bit because I'm the older brother. So I had to be the responsible one at all times. I had to go through the ups and downs on my own with no one kind of telling me how to go through it. It's nice having people that went through that stuff that can
I learned from them
about
as well. Yeah, a lot of mistakes they made I just learned from. I learned from my own mistakes, obviously, but it helped. Definitely had like role models, didn't have it easy though growing up, of course, but we just made the best of it.
Listen, who does, right? And honestly, it's one of the things that drew me to your content is that you bust your ass, you're a hard worker, you're grinding at all the time, outside of the past 2 weeks you were working 2 jobs.
I was just constantly on the go. I like that active lifestyle. Like I like to always be doing something. So
and that's good. I mean, compared to the scheme of current America, that's you're killing it, bro. And I appreciate you being here. So that's definitely something I wanted to bring up. Here. So you're a streamer, right? So the main game that you're playing right now is Valorant.
Yeah,
which we know
love-hate relationship with the game.
It's always a love-hate relationship with Valorant, which we're going to talk about a little bit. But I know you talk a lot about what your routine looks like, but tell the viewers what your morning routine looks like and kind of how you prepare for the day.
Okay.
Because I think that's kind of important.
Okay, so pretty much every single day that I'm working, that I'm not off, like pretty much I work every day except for Wednesdays I have off, and then I'm off weekends. I'm off Saturday after 2 and then Sundays. So pretty much any time that I'm off, I wake up at 5 in the morning every single day, and I'm just running deathmatch. maybe reading a book, maybe like watching some motivational video, like just something to get me going. Like, and also I make my bed every single morning because that made me realize like when you complete a task, the first moment you wake up, you feel like you accomplished something. And if you do that every single day, like you just, I don't know, like it leads to great things. But yeah, so I was just waking up super early. Like I don't even have an alarm clock anymore. It's just, I just wake.
Fuck out of
I
here.
literally have.
I could not do
I
that,
have a
bro.
mental alarm clock. So pretty much 5 o'clock hits, my eyes are just up. Like I'm just ready to go. Hop on the
You
game.
are insane.
Get some
I applaud you,
coffee.
but you're insane.
It's not easy. It's not easy, but I like it. Dude.
I could. That's good, you know. And I think you know, being I've been in your stream, you know, for 2 years. I know that you have younger kids that tend to follow you and they check out your streams, and I think that's a great like role model type of thing, type of atmosphere to promote. Because look, man, and you know what, on my podcast, it's my podcast, so I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. But kids these days, they don't fucking know what it was like, you know, and they're coddled.
They have no
and things
idea,
are just,
bro. They're nurtured.
no fucking
they
idea
have
what the
everything
grind
handed
is.
to them. They don't know, understand that you got to work for shit. So
And I appreciate that, you know, anytime I'm in your stream, you're giving a lesson to somebody. Like, hey, listen, this is what I do. And if you want to, you know, and I know there was a lot of shit going on. I mean, my whole fucking Twitter feed yesterday was all about Frost and the 100 Thieves shit. And, you know, these guys are talking, making, oh, I'm in LA making 60 grand and blah, blah. Bro, are you kidding me?
Bro.
If I had the opportunity as a kid making 60K with a fucking one of the largest organizations in the world for video games,
I would not complain. I'd
I'd be up fucking 5 a.m. every day.
I would take
And I'm
it,
not
and
a
I would
morning
be
person.
fucking grateful for the opportunity, because how often is a tier 1 organization going to come to you and be like, oh, we want you? Very rare.
And listen, I'm not one to talk shit. I'm not talking shit on Frost or anybody, but it's one of those things where it's like, dude, you know, I think if these kids had, I don't want to say better role models, but if they've looked more into better habits, shit like that would not even be a complaint.
No, I think the problem nowadays, and I will honestly gladly speak up on it, right? The problem nowadays is people want instant gratification, you know, for what they do. They want instant gratification. They want everything handed to them, but they don't realize, like, every successful person that you're looking up to has sacrificed so many fucking hours to get to where they're at. If you think it's easy, you're wrong. Like,
That's
a
true.
lot of people are just unmotivated and just lazy. I'll be honest. It's just unmotivated, lazy.
Well, when you're a kid and you're getting trophies and you're not a winner, I mean that honestly, I'm sorry. That's just it's a bad way to live. I didn't get a fucking trophy when I was a loser. They're like, hey man, guess what? You're a loser. Go home. See ya. You know, I mean that's just the reality.
I mean, dude, there needs to be some reality check. You know what I mean? Like you got to realize, like you got to put in a lot of hours. Nothing's gonna come knocking on your door. Like put in the time, man, like everybody else, and respect the fact that people got there because they put in they sacrificed their time. Like, dude, I could be going out drinking, I could be going out every weekend and partying, but I'm choosing to grind because I'm more invested in my future than partying. You know, it's just it's two different ways to look at it. You know.
I didn't invest my time when I was younger. Probably.
I wish I did it sooner.
Detriment. Yeah, I wish I did it sooner too. But you know what? One thing for older people or people in their mid to late 30s is it's never too late, honestly. And you know what? Who gives a fuck? That's how I look at it. I don't care what people think of me. I don't care if people are upset.
You shouldn't care what people think.
I don't care if people are like, oh, that guy's playing video games. Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm playing video games. And you know what? If I become a pro or if I get signed, guess what? I'm gonna fucking take it. Deuce's job. See ya. Like, fuck you guys.
Like,
I'll even take a pay cut.
Nowadays, people are literally like afraid to fail, right? Like they just don't want to fail. They don't want to fail, and they don't want to. They care too much what people think. You know, you shouldn't care what people think, man. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
Well, and you know, we could probably talk about this until we're blue in our face, but I mean, that's just the reality of social media, you know, because social media paints this picture of everybody's happy, everybody's hot, everybody's sexy. Let me tell you, the chick you're looking at, she's got fucking fake hair. She's got fake eyelashes. She's
lip
not as
injection.
skinny as she is. Her ass is fucking plumped from whatever fucking like social media is fake, and it's the same thing with successful business guys. I mean, look what happened to fucking Andrew Tate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these people, they promote this different persona to social media because at the end of the day, that's what they want people to see. But it doesn't mean they're happy. It doesn't actually even mean that
I
they're
know
successful.
a lot of successful people that are unhappy. Money does not buy happiness.
No.
But if you're making money doing what you love, that's huge. You're winning.
Exactly. So, yeah, I know I kind of went off on a tangent there. So, one question I wanted to ask you is what's one of the biggest challenges that you face when it comes to streaming? And I probably know the answer, but I want to hear what you have to say. What's one of your biggest challenges, and how are you trying to tackle that or get around that?
I think the biggest challenge would probably be like, okay, one, how you come off. Two, being more understanding with people asking like very obvious questions or just, like stuff that they already know the answer to. That, and I would say like, obviously patience is something I need to work on for sure. Like, be more patient with some of these people because, like, keep in mind they're younger. They just have a lot to learn, not fully matured. I would say patience, dude. I got to work on that more for sure.
I feel you. So, you kind of got a really good push start eventually when Hiko rated you. Tell me a little bit about that, how it made you feel. I mean, look, I watch Hiko. I love Hiko. I mean, he's a fellow boomer. So, just watching him play, he's fucking hilarious, and I love his content. So, talk a little bit about that.
So, actually, that day, believe it or not, crazy day. It's storming, right? I was having car issues before I went live that day. I was just like, my battery died on my car. Like, I was just having car issues, and I was so tilted, I was like, you know what? I'll deal with that later. I need to go stream, because obviously my getaway is video games, it just makes me happy. So I just pushed it off aside, booted up the stream. An hour later, Hiko raids. I was like, oh, maybe
That's awesome.
maybe something good comes out of a negative situation. Depends how you look at it. And honestly, that was the most surreal. Like, I've never had more than, I think my peak before Hiko raided me was like maybe like 7 to 10 viewers at most. With raids, maybe 20. I've never experienced 7,000 people watching you at once. That was, dude. Like, you may as well be on a stage. Like, it's very like nerve-wracking.
I bet you were fucking sweating your ass
You have
off.
all that you have adrenaline rush, right? You have the you feel like you want to like impress whoever's rating you, like especially with that many viewers, like that's your moment to shine, Like, people are gonna remember.
I get a rate of 10 people and I feel that way, so I could only imagine.
6,000,
like,
and the craziest part was like 1,000 people stuck around for the rest of the stream. Like, that was fucking dope.
Damn.
To be honest, surreal. But a lot of them actually, if it weren't for that raid, I probably wouldn't have met a lot of cool people. So, shout out to those people. You know who you are. But
yeah, I mean, look, and I think that kind of goes back to what we've been discussing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could have said, "Fuck it, I'm not streaming today. I'm gonna go fucking grab a beer and wallow that I'm having car issues." But instead, you said, "No, I gotta fucking do what I'm doing. I'm gonna go home. I gotta
stay focused.
And even though I'm pissed off, I gotta stay focused and do what I gotta do." And it worked out for you. And I think that if more people did that, things would be a little bit different.
Because it's easy to be comfortable. Like, it's easy to just say, okay, I'm not streaming. Let me just go lay on my couch and watch a movie. It's so easy to do that. But what's not easy is to grind when you're having terrible days. That is something that is not easy, but it builds character at the end. So.
Yeah. So, I guess my next kind of follow up to that, because we're talking about your routine, is what time of the day do you think you get the most? You're most productive. Is it the morning?
It's the 5 in the morning for me, dude. The most productive. You don't hear anything outside. It's so peaceful. You just grab a cup of coffee, get to work. You don't hear kids screaming.
This guy is fucking crazy. I'll tell you that right now. This guy's crazy. Because at 5 a.m., my fucking ass is sleeping. There's a 0% chance.
Well, you just brought up a good point.
I applaud you, bro.
You brought up a good
Because
point.
I couldn't do it. I'm a night guy though, so like if I gotta grind, my shit's typically later on, just because I've always been that way. Like,
you're set on your ways, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean when you're in your mid-30s too, that's just kind of its own fucking issue as it is, But so I know recently we've been working on, well, back in November, so you started Underdogs, right? Underdogs Thrive.
Yep.
And we recently kind of started working on that because we're trying to build that up. Talk a little bit about that, like what was in your head when you made it, and what went into creating the team and bringing me on and things like that in terms of trying to grow it.
All right. So pretty much what happened was I knew that I wanted to go pro someday in Valorant. Like I don't care how long it takes, another year or two. Like that's just my end goal. Maybe not my end goal, but it's my next goal. Because after I go pro, I have other plans. But pretty much, I was like, okay, well, the only way to go pro. Actually, shout out to Trippy, FaZe Trippy. He used to be FaZe's coach for Valorant. He did end up, I think, stepping down, or I don't know what exactly happened, but he used to be FaZe's coach. When I first started getting serious into Valorant, I DM'd him. I was like, oh, like, what do I gotta do to go pro? Like, what's he's like, have you played in any tournaments? He was asking me all these questions. I was like, I have not. He goes, well, make a team and play in tournaments. And after that, I was like, okay, interesting. Let me just work on rank. Let me work on like achieving a higher rank. And I was like, okay. Well, now I have to make the team. So I came up with Underdogs.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, how is that going to look to other people, right? You come up with a team called Underdogs. You start from the bottom, bring a bunch of your buds on, compete, and make it to the top. How that'd be a great like success story, obviously, in the long term. So yeah, pretty much I was like, okay, Underdogs Thrive it is. And then that's when I just started hitting you up. I started getting the team assembled, and I didn't think it'd make it this far, but here we are.
Yeah, we won our first tournament, right?
Yeah,
which is cool.
That was huge. Shout out to Fuego. For inviting us.
Thank you, Fuego. Yeah. That was a unique experience, and I'd say as we've gone through this, kind of like creating the logo and designing the website and getting our stuff together, it's been unique because I've made my own channel and doing all that stuff, but I've never like fully redesigned something from the ground up.
It feels nice though. It's very motivating. Seeing everything, seeing the hard work come together. Like slowly.
I like our logo. I definitely like
our logo. Our logo is clean. The way they had it in the layout was a little off, but then I saw the colors. I'm like, it looks perfect.
Yeah, as soon as we kind of like got out of it, it was cool to see. So, all right. So, hypothetical question for you, because fuck it, I'm drinking, right? If you got signed by a large org tomorrow. 100 Thieves, FaZe, Liquid. What would be the first thing that you would do?
That's a tough question, but
that's why I figured I'd ask it. Fuck this shit, man. You're not drinking, so I gotta drink and ask the hard questions here. Okay?
Let's see. Being the founder of the team, it gives me more flexibility to join another org, because I'm not technically owning it. I just created it, and I pretty much set you up to succeed in a way. So you have everything you need. If I got that opportunity, I'm taking it. 100%. If they literally come to my DMs, I'm taking it.
Well, all right. I know that. Believe me, you don't have to tell me that. But what's the first thing you're gonna do?
What's the first thing I'm gonna do? Are we talking about like getting signed or getting contacted?
No, you're signed. You signed the contract. What's the first thing Guilty is going to do?
I'm gonna probably pay off every single debt I have. Completely pay off debt, student loans, in courtesy of Biden.
Thanks, Biden.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
We'll be like 90% covered. Gonna pay off the rest, and then maybe buy a nice home. Make sure my parents are in good. Buy them a nice car. I'm more of a giving person, so like I like to spoil myself last. So I'll make sure everybody in my family is taken care of first, before I am, and then just go from there.
He's a giver, not a taker. Everybody, just
yeah.
just so everybody
just to clarify
knows.
that, yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. I appreciate the candid remark and so in your streaming career, let's talk to some of the younger people. Maybe you can help them. So, what's one of the most important lessons that you've learned as a streamer, content creator? Because you're not just on Twitch. You do your YouTube starting to really kick it off. I mean, your videos are fucking great. You have TikTok, which I've seen. Your TikTok views are up. I mean, really all of your social media is up. But what's something you can kind of tell everybody, like, this is what I learned, and not necessarily how to replicate it, because we don't want to give away your secret sauce, but something maybe they can do to follow in your footsteps.
So pretty much connections, the most important thing. You want to be a content creator, connect with content creators. You want to be a pro, connect with pro players. Whatever it is, you want to be a musician, connect with musicians. Like, pretty much I knew I wanted to go pro, so I started hitting up every single pro, like Sabrosa. I would just hit them all up. Like, hey man, what do I gotta do? Like, so what if 100 of them didn't reply? I would only give attention to that one that did reply, and I would appreciate that one that did reply, because I understand that not everyone's gonna reply to you, like, it is what it is. But if you shoot your shot, eventually someone will get back to you, and just keep asking questions. You want like a growth mindset. You want to like constantly be asking questions, like, how do I get there? What's the next step? Then I started investing in boot camps. I started getting VOD reviewed by pros, and like I just started putting in more effort. So it's paying off.
Yeah, and that's one thing I can tell you that I saw you do that I don't see a lot of people do as much, and that's ask for help. Well, not necessarily ask for help, but ask for, hey, what am I doing? How can I improve it?
Hey, man.
I mean, ever since I've met you, that's what you've done, and you're willing to admit that you're human, you make mistakes,
exactly.
and that you can improve on them, which people don't do that.
People have egos. Just put your ego aside and realize that you're not as good as you think you are. That's it.
Even the pros always have something
a coach.
To work on.
They have a coach that literally watches them. Like, they're not perfect. They can try to be like 90% of the time, but realistically, they have a coach who's constantly reviewing their stuff, giving them advice. They do their own VOD reviews, everything, They do team VOD reviews, all that. So there's a lot of I just say build connections, honestly. It's my biggest advice.
I like that.
Connect with the right people. You never know.
So, where... we talk, me and you talk a lot every day about like goals, aspirations. I know what your fucking goals are, but a lot of people don't. Let's talk about some of your goals, some of your aspirations. Give me your 5 and 10 year plan. Like, where do you see yourself in, or even 3 years? Like, let's talk a little bit about that, because I think a lot of people don't realize just how driven you are and kind of where you expect yourself to be.
Okay, so in terms of like a 3-year plan, like maybe like a 2-year plan. I expect to be in like VCTs and playing on a team. It might not be like a tier 1 org, but I expect to be in VCT on a semi-pro or pro team competing. Whether it's a tier 4 org, tier 3, tier 2. Like, I just see myself being on like a semi-pro team at least within a year or two. And I could see it happening. But in terms of like long-term goals, obviously you got to work your way up. You got to prove yourself. You got to make a name for yourself. But aside from just... once I do reach going pro in the future, I do want to like lean towards podcast. Like once I've gotten there, I want to share my knowledge with everybody else and maybe help somebody else who's struggling, somebody who's talented and doesn't know what to do. There's a lot of talent out there, but just not a lot of people willing to put in the work. Like, it's one thing to be talented, it's another to not be making content. So
well, the grind is real, and like here's the thing too, right? I mean, all the shit that we use. I mean, look. I'm older, so a lot of times I can drop $100, $200
they can't.
on something I think is important. And we know younger kids can't, but a lot of the stuff that we do is, I mean, it's free. Half the shit out there that you can use. I mean, even the software I'm recording this on, if I didn't pay for the extra special shit, there's free versions that you can use.
Bro, for a year straight on YouTube, I literally edited all my videos. For a year straight, before I found an editor. I did all the work. I edited all my videos. And yeah, they were getting 100 views, but better than 0, Gotta start somewhere.
Editing's tough. I taught myself Adobe Premiere Pro, and I will tell you, like, I can edit a video. I showed you my TikTok format. I can do some decent TikToks. Yeah, but it's not easy, and it's very fucking time consuming.
But the thing you gotta realize, right? You just said time consuming. If your goal is to go pro, you should be putting your effort into like playing the game, not editing. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
another like advice, right? If you're a content creator, put like make the investments in the right people to help you get to where you want to get. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't think you could do everything yourself. You can, but nobody makes it to the top by themselves. Everyone has a team. Every successful person has a team behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, for example, an accountant, like an editor, like I have a thumbnail designer. I don't do all that. Like, my focus is the game. Streaming and content. That's my focus. So if I have to
Yeah.
drop $100, if I have to drop $40, $50, $60 a week on videos, whatever, bro. The way I see it is, it's like my return on investment is going to be a lot higher in the future. You know.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting thing that you bring up. Talk a little bit about that because I know you did all that shit on your own. You ended up your editor's bomb. If you want to give him a shout out, feel free to
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
Derpy for sure, dude. Look him up.
Yeah,
He's-
Derpy kills the
He's
videos.
killing
So,
it, bro.
but you had a pretty substantial shift. I mean, recently we're talking thousands of views within a couple hours, right?
It's insane, honestly. Like, dude, I was getting 100 views a video, like for a year straight. Maybe it started to pick up a little, like I would say, like New Year's of last year. It started to pick up a little. I'd get it like 500, 600, but I've never hit 1,000. And then finally, out of nowhere, literally the algorithm's just been treating me so well. Like I just constant consistency, bro. I've been posting the same time on Fridays every week. Obviously, when I stepped aside, that's a different story. But I had a lot of stuff going on at the time. But yeah,
Well, I think that's kind of key, right? Is being consistent. And I think, look, you stepped away, and I think that honestly, like in seeing your content and from where you were then to now, I think you needed that, dude. And I think everybody sometimes needs that. Sometimes you just need to step away,
you step
take
back
a breath.
and then recoup.
But I will tell you, when you left and I was streaming, I would have your viewers come into my stream saying, "Hey, what happened to Guilty? Where is he?" So you know that you made a good impact on people's lives
When they're looking
if
for
they're
you.
if they're trying to figure out where you are. Your Discord people are like, "Yo, where's Guilty? Like, where's he at?" Like daily. So I think that that's important. Like people care about your content. They care about what you're doing and where
Definitely.
you
They're
are.
very tuned. They see that I'm very invested in what I do, and they're just willing to support any way possible. I'm not talking about money because I don't stream for money, like nothing, dude. I just do it because it makes me happy. Like, but if I could make a living streaming, I would, dude. I would be more than happy.
Yeah. I mean, look, I would be happy.
Yeah, I'm saying,
You know?
like, even if it's
Um,
40, 50K a year or whatever, dude. As long as you can live on it and you're happy, dude, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, as I've gotten older, I think that money is one of those things where it's like that's all you're thinking about, right? But like when you're younger, it's like, all right, I can't wait till I'm 21 so I could drink. And then when you're 21,
You
you're
don't
like,
even
all
drink.
right, you figure out just how shitty that is, And then as you get older, you're like, all right, I'm 25, I can rent a car. Okay, have fun with that
Have
shit,
fun. Just make sure you bring it back in 2 wheels.
And then when you're 30, you're like, all right, fuck birthdays. They're stupid. I'm 1 year closer to death. Oh, that's just me thinking. Sorry, my bad. But so let's talk a little bit about because I know that you have a couple pet peeves. What's your top 3 pet peeves? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about gaming or streaming or whatever. It just in general in life. What are 3 of your pet peeves?
One of them being like when people rush you, Like I hate when people rush you. Like I operate on my time. Like I'm not gonna operate on your time. Like don't rush me. That's one of my pet peeves. Another is definitely backseat gamers, man. Like
Oh my god, dude, Valorant.
Like-
that's you still have an ability. You can res me if you're playing Sage. Like go fuck your
Like,
I
dude,
know. Let me play, bro.
just the idea that you can't even like have your own freedom in your playstyle without people having having something to say. You know what I mean? Like definitely that, and I would probably say like definitely just like I wouldn't say stupid questions, but just like Very like non-common sense questions.
Just say it, bro. You can, look. This is the one cool thing about having your own podcast is that you could say what you want, and I'm not gonna get fucking mad at you because this isn't PC shit. Speak your mind. Say what you
Pretty
think.
much,
Man.
don't ask me dumb questions that you already know the answer
There you
to.
fucking go.
I hate dumb questions like, "Oh, are you streaming tomorrow?" And I have my schedule, like on my Twitter or something. Like,
all right, so I'm not gonna lie. I ask you that question sometimes, so I'm a fucking idiot. But anyway,
it's okay. So you're not asking it every like 2 hours though.
That's true. That's true. So, all right. I mean, that's mainly all I have for you today, man. Is there anything that you want to tell the viewers, or is there anything I didn't ask you, maybe that you wanted to make sure that people knew about you, maybe?
I pretty much covered everything, to be honest.
I was trying to make sure I got your pet peeves in there because I know they're fucking hilarious.
And it's always the less mature ones that are constantly nagging me.
It's like, hey, Guilty, you still have an updraft. You have your ult. You can use it, you know? You know what? So here, now that we kind of talked about yourself, Valorant, let's talk a little bit about the game because obviously that's our lives. That's the game that we play. Yep. I feel like I'm cheating if I'm playing a different game. I'm not going to lie to you.
I feel like that too.
Yeah.
I don't even play anything else.
Exactly. So, how do you feel about the current state of Valorant, with the new patch, some of the agent changes that they made? Obviously they nerfed Chamber pretty hard. They did some different changes. They actually buffed Neon quite a bit. And talk to us a little bit about the state of Valorant as a whole.
Honestly, the state of Valorant in terms of ranked is still pretty troll. You still get the same old people that just hop on an alt account, run it down, give no fucks about anything. Oh, I'm just gonna run it down. They blast music, they mute their mic, and just run it down. And then I'm sitting there wondering why I'm losing 10 games in a row.
Well, losers queue is a real thing, which I think there's a YouTube video about Shroud talking about it and bringing it up to some of the developers, which the developers say there isn't. We all know there fucking is.
Dude, there fucking is. Stop capping. But yeah, pretty much the state of it is definitely needs some work. I mean, I agree with the Chamber buff because he was pretty broken. But he's
still broken, bro. I watched.
He's not.
Everyone still plays him.
They didn't nerf shit, bro. I'm still match MVPing with him, and they didn't nerf anything, dude. But the Neon buff was much needed for sure.
She's fun to play.
Neon's
I don't know if you've ever really
times.
done too much. Yeah,
Times,
she's fun to play. My opinion, I do think that. And let's talk a little bit about the in-game tournaments that they were talking about. I think that's a really cool thing. I think for if you've been kind of on the fence about making a team, or maybe you have a team like us that's we're obviously not sponsored or whatever, it gives you an opportunity to get in with some of these pros if you have the talent and you're willing to put in the work. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Honestly, I think it's cool. They're needed, in-game tournaments. Not everyone can make a team full of it more. You know what I mean? Not everyone can make a team and compete in VLR or VCT. I think it'll help a lot of up and coming talent, to be honest. Get the recognition they deserve. And good practice. I mean, who doesn't want practice in tournaments? Honestly, I love tournaments. After we played that one tournament, dude, I fell in love with them.
Dude. The adrenaline rush, man. It's unlike anything you experience.
It's nothing like ranked, let me tell you.
Look, the ranked experience is rough. I applaud Riot. I mean, I know that they try. I don't know if any game with a ranked experience is ever going to be,
That's what you make
perfect.
Of it. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's always going to be toxic people. I will say that out of all the games I've played, Valorant might be one of the most toxic games ever, and this was coming from Apex. I was playing Apex every day.
I have another one as well, actually, another point. They got to work on the anti-cheat system. My God. This guy openly admits to having wall hacks, goes on the site, buys it. Come on, we got to do something about that. And I'm thinking, how many games have I lost because somebody had wall hacks and just pre-fired an angle or something, that I just wasn't aware of. I just think the anti-cheat needs a little bit more work.
You also tend to get stream sniped
as
well.
Yeah, ever since the Hika raid, blessing and a curse, But
yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, every streamer goes through it. I'm just working on ways to deal with it. I'm not perfect. I understand I tilt and It's just the most
No.
frustrating thing to realize, like, you're losing games that you shouldn't be losing because people just have
Yeah.
no integrity, you know? Like, they'll take the easy way out 10 out of 10 times because they don't want to put in the work. And you gotta realize, grinding these ranks are not easy. I've been hard stuck silver. I've been hard stuck gold. I've been hard stuck plat. I've been hard stuck diamond currently. Like, I've been hard stuck every single rank. And I've been playing for the past, like, 2 years at least. It's insane. So I applaud, like, people, like, coming from CSGO and, like, getting to Radiant in, like, a year or something. That's impressive.
Yeah.
But they also have the background, you know. I don't have CSGO background. I started on Fortnite.
I never played CSGO in my life.
I've played it a few times. It's fun. But after playing Valorant, that game just stale to me. It's very stale.
Valorant it's a unique thing. I just kind of fell in love with it, you know, after the first couple times I played it, and mainly because like it's probably the one game that I've seen like vast improvements compared to when I first started playing, and I know I'm decent at it. I was pretty good at Apex. Apex is just a different game, and you want to talk about fucking cheating? Apex Legends, dude. The cheaters in Apex, it's crazy.
Bro.
You're like looking at a guy trying to shoot him, or this guy's hitting you with an R99, which is it's an automatic like mid range weapon, and he's hitting you from across the map, all headshots. You're like, what the?
It's
how the fuck did
insane,
I
bro.
die
It
to
makes
that?
no sense.
I don't understand the cheating thing. I never did. I never used the fucking like Game Boy when I was younger, like with a Game Genies, like if you remember those.
Oh,
for
I
you
grew up
older
playing
people.
zombies, man. Till 4 or 5 in the morning, dude. Nazi zombies, man. That's vibes.
Good old Nazi zombies, bro. Jeez, that brings back memories. So I think that's about it. Let's talk a little bit about where can people find you? Where's your content, your channel, and then we'll get out of here.
You can pretty much find me under GiltieTV on Twitch, Instagram, pretty much every social media. Just search Guilty and you'll find me. But yeah,
Awesome. I'm gonna vouch for this guy. I think his content's great. I think you definitely need to go check out some of his YouTube videos. His YouTube videos are great. They're starting to kick off, and you know, look, it's a pleasure to have you on. It's a pleasure to know you, and I appreciate you know all the work we've done, and I think there's only bigger things to come.
Oh, better
in my
days
opinion.
ahead, man. Better days ahead. That was always my saying. Better days ahead.
Awesome. Well, we'll end it there, and thanks, man, and thanks everybody that is going to listen to this. You can find this on anywhere that you can find podcasts, including we're going to have the video up on YouTube and everything as well. So
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me on the first episode of the Drink O'Clock podcast.
Of course.
I'll see you guys on the flip side.
Nice day.
Thanks for listening to the Drink O'Clock podcast. It's closing time. Until next time, bottoms up, people. And we'll see you next time.